is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international
nice cold frosty one to start us off.
The destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media
I was going to cut this off, but it's too important to listen to. Again,
in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented.
I love this.
And the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless,
James
I take
Orbach,
all
yes.
of these slings and arrows
For sure.
gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future.
Let me just say this. I did pause this incredible speech, but I think that is one of the most powerful sentences out of this powerhouse of one-liners and earth-shattering bombs of truth that were laid on us well before we knew anything to the scope in which we know it now. Let me see if I got the right spot. If not, give me just a second. I think it's incredible what he says.
They deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine, only a question of gladly for you.
Right
I
here.
take them for our movement so that we can have
You can
our
hear it in his
country
voice
back.
when he says it right
I
here.
knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can
So
stop
true.
this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefits of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Damn straight. He will do it for us. He has done it for us. He has taken us from the depths of the shadows of not knowing what's truly going on into what's going on. And it's very clear. So if you are open to, letting evidence point you in the direction of learning the truth, a lot of the people that I know in life just want the truth. They just don't want to be lied to anymore. They just want the truth. Before I get into all that, how you guys doing? Thanks for putting up with me and putting Trump on that speech. He bails me out a lot. He's a great communicator, the great orator. He's phenomenal. I finally understand what people that used to get like passionate behind like JFK and that kind of stuff, how they actually feel about the president. I wanted Barack Obama to be what he said he was going to be in his first term, and I got behind it a little bit like, yeah, hope and change. I think, this guy could smooth everything out. He didn't. And now we know what we know about him. So, I don't know. Maybe you guys weren't deceived. Maybe you weren't. I was deceived wanting to believe in a better truth, believe in somebody that could come in and actually change it. Because after all, what are we fighting for? I don't even know it. That's not even to a song. But what are we fighting for? Why are we going to war? I suppose there's times when that should happen, but I think Trump is unmaking the bed of lots of beds that the U.S. has been made to sleep in. We've been sleeping in a lot of the beds we've made over the years. And that's by design. And we know this now. We know that every war, at least since World War I, has been manufactured with an end game insight. End game. And we've went through the history before. I'll do it again someday soon. We'll talk about how it ushered in everything to do with socialism, with the Fabian socialism. I guess I'll tap into it just for a second. Really, the end game goal since World War I, and probably well beyond this, but as far as I can tell, World War I tried to usher in the ability for the world to come together as a giant superpower. They got into the political systems of the Western world, like the United States. They got into the teaching aspect of it. They got into our schools. They started educating. And slowly but surely, this started coming to a head, or not a head, but it started coming to a narrative that was slowly starting to turn the wheels from being a republic into a socialistic communism way of life. Pardon me. But they have patience. These people have patience, and they've led us into where we're at now today. Anyway, I guess that's the short story of why we're at where we're at. and why I feel the patriotism for this president, Donald Trump. All of the horrific things have been proven to us that are awake. The rest of the world ain't awake. That's a tight line that you have to negotiate as you go through life, is that people are awake and people aren't awake. And there are people that can roll with the punches and that kind of stuff, and I suppose most of you can roll with the punches. You're just like, I'm fucking awake. I'm waiting for the rest of you to like ask a great question, or, let me show you something. Let me show you something. You guys know what that was from? I should have did it with the teeth, but I won't. Let me show you something. This president, I don't, okay. It's funny. I'll just say that as like, just generically. What's funny about what's going on right now is that Trump is actually to the point where he don't give an F anymore. The plan is so far along, things are so far progressing, things are so much happening in the winning column that he is just calling it out now like a gunslinger. Pew, 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 pew. He is calling it out. He's not sugarcoating anything. And if you are on Twitter, I highly recommend you make an account just to listen to the president alone in his tweets. He drops, I'm not shitting you, 20 tweets a day, give or take. Sometimes give a lot. This man's on fire. That's his direct lifeline to us, the awake, the people of the world. His Twitter account, believe it or not, it is. But it also gives us good insight to people that are within his circle, like Donald Trump Jr., who openly calls out things and calls them horseshit and bullshit on a daily standard. They are calling out on the platform of free speech. They are calling a spade. None of the shit you get off the mainstream television. If you talk to anybody that gets their information off TV channels, they're fucking retarded. Sorry for the F-bomb. Not necessary, but they are. Because I can't assume that anybody that watches and gets their news from TV is listening to Fox News. And if they are, then you know what? They're in rare air. They're a small percentage of people. They are in rare air. So, welcome to the show. It's so good to see you all. Not reading the chat because you know what that does to my mind. Puts the boogie woogie on me. But there was I don't know if you caught it. There was a live stream. It was actually on mainstream television. It happened today. It was President Trump. Did any of you happen to catch it? Did you catch what he said? I'm sure you did, but let's give it a minute. Everybody catch up and say hello, and you have. So before I read the chat and see what you guys are replying with about what he said today, let me apologize. My plan was to go on live last night, and it just developed into this family situation where me breaking away from it to go live just wouldn't have made sense. And then I fell asleep. It just got too late. If you guys hung in there, I'm so sorry. I will try to make it up tonight. I will. I'll try. I'll do my best. I do my best to do my duty and obey the law of the pack. I was a Cub Scout for a minute. Got to wear a uniform. That was kind of fun. Don't say the words. Oh, what's that? Okay. Let me go up because you guys are firemen. Yeah, James. Fire Marshal. It was Fire Marshal Bill. That's hilarious. Oh, Fireman Bill. It's Fireman Bill. Let me show you something. Man, that was the berries when I was like in my high school days. That was cool. That was cool. I've told this story before, I think. You know who one of my favorite comedians is? And this is not just because it's like on brand and so in the now, because I like this guy before this became hip to say, is that I like Mitch Hedberg. You want to know why I like Mitch Hedberg? Because of a joke he told one time. This guy told a joke that resonated within me so much. And it's not that funny, but his take on comedy kills me. I've laughed way harder at other comedians. Mitch Hedberg was a pioneer. He told this joke. He goes, I love going to the club. I like going to the club with my people, going to the club. Because when you go in the club, everybody looks cool. Everybody's got those lights on them and everybody looks cool. He goes, except for me. Because I was under the impression that mustard stain came out of my shirt. And I don't know if you guys get the joke. You do. You're not dumb. You're not retarded. But that kind of shit there, when the first time you hear it, tickle my funny bone to the bone. Guy had a lot going for him, man. Mitch Hedberg. He's a funny guy. Yeah. What do you mean I just got James? Oh, James loves Mitch Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg. I mean, he's not on he's not on the Mount Rushmore comedy. But you know, he could be like in the skybox of anybody on Mount Rushmore. He could be up like in their skybox hanging out. Like, I knew you could do it. Yeah, Mitch Hedberg, man. That was a trip. What'd you learn? What'd you learn? Hi, Mel Monty, by the way. What'd you learn? Who's always Amy? Always Amy. Amy, are you sometimes not Amy? She's like, no, I'm always Amy. Always. And now you know this. And I'm like, okay, got you. Welcome, always Amy. So I scratched a couple things down on paper. I was talking a little bit. So I played so I was talking a little bit about President Trump. I didn't really actually say that. I asked if any of you knew what came on today and what he said. I actually didn't see anybody that said the right answer. If you did, holler. Holler. But if you did, holla. Holla, dog. Holla. Is that Amy the mod, James? Always Amy? Oh, gotcha. I'm a wee Todd. I'm sorry, Amy. Of course it's you. Welcome. I didn't catch the new name change. I'm so sorry. I am doucheface. All right. $1 for $1. I got you, James. Like months ago, you can't go live at all, I'm guessing. What happened? What am I reading? I don't know what that means. I guess I can go live. Oh, you can't go live at all, I'm guessing. Yeah. I think Mel, was telling me that come January, this channel will shut down. And then I'll just have to meet you all at someone else's channel because, yeah. Unless I come up with some tricks and bells and whistles and put some software on here that lets me do things that spread my wings, uh, which I could. I don't even know if it's true, though. Is it true? It might not be. No, it looks pretty true. That's okay. The big plan, and I am going to speak about the notes I wrote, but getting sidetracked. The big plan, when I start to think about this, is maybe there won't be the need for channels like this once the other shoe drops. Once these shoes drop, I mean, yeah, we can have places to hang out and live stream and just chat and stuff like that. But there is a collective effort to get the truth out that even comes through a small channel like this, and it comes through many channels that, in whatever capacity they do reach, it just adds to the collective narrative of the truth. It just solidifies the truth of what's going on. And I'm hoping that there's a day when there won't need to be that kind of digital soldier type push where everybody's on board. I mean, we can all be on board. You get what I'm saying? I mean, maybe we'll be living in a future where this is what it is. I don't know. We'll see. Things are sure getting crazy. So there was a, hang on, I'll read the chat. Then I'm going to go into my note. I'm not going anywhere, D. I'm just saying that it might not have to be on this platform. I don't know, Mel. Maybe. Thank you, Amy. You're awesome, too. You guys are awesome. Every one of you are awesome. You're full-fledged, graduated patriots. We all are. We've all gone through our graduation together. It's funny. I was watching a clip of An Officer and a Gentleman tonight. Didn't plan to talk about this, but it's coming together nicely. Is that, it's funny. I'll watch scenes from movies that really capture the moment, like Officer and a Gentleman, or yeah, that. But what I was going to say is A Few Good Men. Like, I like the movie. It's good. But I really like watching the cross-examination when, like, the movie gets to the shit and then you see it. I like the movie Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino. Love it. Great movie. But I really like it when it gets to the courtroom scene at the end when he has to defend the kid and stay back in school. I love that. That's so I got watching one tonight, Officer and a Gentleman. And it got to the scene where, I don't know if you've seen the movie. It's old. It won some hardware. But old movie, and I don't really respect the guy that's in the movie, Richard Gere. I don't care for him much these days anymore. But anyway, it doesn't take away from the fact that he was a stellar thespian back in the day. And he was. And he played the role in that movie. But the thing was that he couldn't give up. No matter what happened, couldn't give up. And I hear a lot of people in chat, not here maybe, but in different boards, in different live streams, in different comments that are put in. People are like, I'm so tired. I can't wait for this. Can you imagine how President Trump feels right now? When you tell yourself that you're tired and you can't go on anymore and you can't bear this anymore. Can you just for a second realize that this dude, on top of bearing this every day, and he gets the luxury of knowing the end game of the plan and that it's going very well, but he even gives that to us, like him and the Patriots that are running the Q team, all of that. They give that information to us so that we know the plan is moving along as it should. But if you think you're tired, think about the planning that went in to get this plan to where it is right now. Think about how tired these people are. You're not allowed to be. Yeah, I guess you're allowed to be tired, but we really shouldn't be allowed to complain, I guess is what I'm saying. And I've complained in the past and said, man, I'm really tired. I'm really, if I step back and take self-inventory, I'm not worn out. I'm not even a fly speck on the ass of worn out when it comes to what our president's going through. And these people that are in his cabinet that are, look at General Flynn. Do you think he's tired? Do you start to understand when Trump says that you're going to win so much, you're going to be tired of winning? Listen, we are winning to the point where it's a lot of winning. It's not in the big scale of things yet. It's not huge like we all want as greedy Americans. I want it and I want it now. And he said he was going to arrest him and blah, blah, blah. No, no. This is a composure of a symphony. It's a symphony that if you've ever sat and listened to any orchestra of any kind, maybe beyond a high school level, like even when you get into like a junior college and stuff, and you listen to some of that, you understand how a symphony works and how it comes together, and it touches every aspect of you. Why? Because it's been proven. It knows what it needs to do to lead you down this path. This is the same as the Great Awakening. And we are honestly through the Great Awakening. We are at the point of the plan where it's called pain. And I heard this best described in the X-22 report, is that we have so many different truths that we could throw on the public, one after another, that we would just wear them out with the truth if we just bombarded them. We can't. We have to let it be a lot like an ocean that erodes away from the shore. It has to be a wave, and it's got to come in, and it's got to wake up this many people and this many people, and then it waves out and it pulls some of that sand and some of those people back out to sea, and then we get another wave, and it pulls away at the shore, and it's pulling these people into being awake. That's the only way that this plan goes off and works with the least amount of casualties. I believe there'll be casualties in this. There's people that are brainwashed. But it will be by hitting these people with continuous waves of truths that just continue to guide and steer us down the path of understanding how deep and how bad this deep swamp went. Trump said the day he got inaugurated, you asked me to drain the swamp, and I'm going to get right on that. That's what he said. Which wouldn't mean shit unless it's what he's doing. And I mean, it's not up for debate. Is he doing what he said he's going to do? In spades. In spades. I'm a fish out of water like you guys. I get my information every day from different sources like you guys. I'm following along. You know what's funny is I looked at myself in a way, and I thought to myself, Bill, what would you think of yourself if you saw yourself talking to somebody that was not awake? And I think about what would come out of my mouth to wake somebody up, because at the threat of being called a know-it-all, I'm not, but I know a lot like you guys do. We all know like a lot of what's going on. We know a lot about where all this leads to. So how do I come at somebody that's just simply not awake? And they say, well, how do you know this? What do you come out and say? I listen to Bill, and Bill listens to a lot of people. No, no. It has to be a collection of evidence. It has to be that you are gathering information in so many ways that it leads you to this path, that it leads you to where you know the truth is taking us. And once you do get led to that point, I think it's borderline enlightenment. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about what's going on. I'm tremendously enlightened because the things that we were told are going to happen are happening. They're not in our time frame, but they are happening. And the earlier Q drops were so far over the edge of like, I had no business following the Q drops, but I looked at them with discernment. I listened to it. But anybody that picked the ball up from there and just went crazy, I mean, nobody could do that. All we could do is simply sit back like a sponge and listen and take it in and absorb it and see what shook out, see what kind of information backed up what we were just told, see the things that are going on. Can Trump make a delivery under the saying something on the top? He does it. He's letting us know, you guys, early, like 2018. He's letting us know early. He is communicating with us. He's letting us know there is a back channel under the guise of Q that is giving information that is sound. It's not crazy. It's not ludicrous. It's sound information that we don't know it's sound information because it hadn't happened yet. But these are the things as we go along. You think about it, guys. We are like well into the 2000s of Q drops. We've had Q come November, 2 years. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of Q. Think about the knowledge you hold inside of you. Think about what you know the deep state is up to. Think about how you are watching the rats scurry about and jump ship. Think about the CEO resignations that are happening. They just announced 4 major ones in the last week. Like major CEO. This is all these CEOs have to do with pay to play. They're all tied into the Clinton Foundation. And if not only that, maybe way more nefarious shit. Maybe way more nefarious shit. But that's what we know. And we have record numbers of people stepping down. We have people that didn't run in the last election. The swamp has been draining. We're waiting for a defining moment. Maybe like Pelosi gets arrested or Schumer gets walked out in handcuffs. A defining moment. Our defining moment has been happening. It's been going on. There are over 100,000 and then some unsealed indictments, unheard of in the history of anything, unheard of. You have child pornography sites and stings that are taking people down in a way that they've never seen before. Like tripled the amount that ever got taken down under Obama or anybody before then, which in all fairness, the internet really wasn't around too much that bad before Obama. You know, George Bush Jr. We're going to smoke them out. We're going to smoke them out with some something I call strategery. But in all fairness, they're going after them. And why? It all has to do with human trafficking. It has to do with Planned Parenthood, selling babies' body parts. Let's call it what it is. It's the ugly truth. But the ugly truth is exactly what Donald Trump is going after. The ugly truth. That's what's getting taken down. And the world knows it. Look at the people marching in Hong Kong. They're holding American flags in Hong Kong. Look at the yellow vest marches in France. Continuous. And though they don't get a lot of airplay, they're still going on. They made Macron submit to what was kind of pissing them off. And they're still not letting them off the hook saying you're done. Look at Brexit. Look at what's going on in England with the Brexit. Now, some of you might be just whitewashed and fatigued with the word Brexit, maybe. But I'm here to say Boris Johnson has a plan And it will involve, by October 31st, taking the United Kingdom out of the euro, out of the European Union. Their currency doesn't, it's not attached to the euro, but they are as far as trade and all of that goes. And they are breaking away. And if you think about it, it's a little bit of poetic justice, because the Brexit was voted on just a few short months before Trump was elected president. And it was a humongous finger to the government of the UK and to the Queen and to the entire European Union. It was a humongous finger to them saying, we want out. We see what's going on. We see how you're pouring immigrants, and the worst of the worst immigrants, just into these. Look at Germany is destroyed. Took away their guns, flew in a bunch of immigrants that are now raping, because they fucking love raping. Jim Jordan, or what's his name? Jim Jeffries. Turns out he loves fucking raping. Not funny, I'm sorry. But the same goes in Sweden. A lot's going on in France. I mean, that's the payback. That's the payback for these people getting their freedom, as they turn out in mobs and just create absolute tragedy. Total tragedy. You know? I don't know. So I still haven't gotten to my list. But I see that somebody said, oh my God, you guys have been busy. Holy shit. Okay, I can't read that. I have to see this. Oh, I like this, James. I like this. I'll give it a second to zoom in. Apropos, James. Apropos, my friend. Pardon me. All right. So Trump goes on today. Now let's read the chat. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Close streams. Yes. Yeah, if you're wondering about that movie, it was A Few Good Men. That's what I was talking about. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Son, we live in a world that gets protected by walls. Who's going to protect them? You? You, Lieutenant Weinberg? Yeah. Let that go. Yeah, D5, I think so. Tide's turning? Yes, it is. Yeah, Mel, D5 is Avalanche. From the Q drops, as I see James says D5 is Q. I mean, it's definitely where the reference is from, D5. Great informer to grow streams. James had also heard it. James heard it too. And I'm eligible to monetize my channel. I'd like to know how they do that, but I have never tried to monetize it. But I guess it would maybe put commercials in on replays or something. Yeah, England is good on their own away from the European Union, James. And what they've got in their back pocket is something that maybe they weren't counting on within the United Kingdom, is that Boris Johnson already has a trade agreement in the works with the United States and Donald Trump. That's where he finds his penis, his Balzac, is that he knows he's got the deal to transition immediately over to business and probably turn the economy for the upside quite rapidly once he gets into this trade agreement with the United States. I told you guys, part 2 of this plan is not only about taking out the deep state, not about only rooting out the evil, corrupt people that are human trafficking and all the evil deeds that these people, like the likes of John Brennan, James Comey, James Clapper, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Andy McCabe, Lisa Strzok, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Anthony Scaramucci. I mean, the list of clowns that are going down when this all goes, and in addition to all of the mainstream television that sat there and pile drove the narrative that Trump was a Russian asset and the entire Mueller investigation. I don't even know how people are putting up with this, saying, are you shitting me? We just got off a 2+ year investigation that cost us, let's say on the low, 25 million, and on the high, 45 million to investigate the Trump presidency, only to discover that there is nobody actively participating with anybody. And then we come out and we've got this information showing Joe Biden quid pro quoing with the Ukrainian government, and they sweep it under the rug. These people are desperate. How can shit be this open and plain to see in your sight, and the mainstream television doesn't get it? That should just confirm to you that they are 100% evil, not brainwashed. They're beyond the point of brainwashed. This is straight up treason. This is sedition. This is, you're found guilty, you will die by hanging from the neck until dead. And that's exactly what needs to happen. I have no bloodlust, none. But people like this, no. If for every one of them hangs and dies, it saves 1 million people, it'd be worth it. But even if it saved 10 people, it'd be worth it. These people are shit. And life is something that none of them hold dear in their hands at all. Look at Benghazi. In addition to the millions of other things that have been exposed to us. You want to listen to a comedian like Bill Maher who gets up there and all he can do. And yeah, you know what? He's salty. He's a little funny. But you know what? This guy shits on Trump as if he's in a position of being on the moral majority, and this guy's not. He's a piece of shit. It's been proven to us before. This guy, I don't know exactly what it is, but there is information showing that some stuff's going to come out, and it's not good for him. It would explain why he is so vocal and so boisterous over his disdain for Donald Trump. It would explain that. Daisy, out of the trash. Hey, get out of there. Come on. You're messing me up. I'm doing my show. Not really. All right. All right. So Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, dead. Number 1 ISIS leader, dead. The caliphate has already been destroyed. This was the ISIS leader, al-Baghdadi. There were many, many signals that were sent out today when President Trump was addressing the nation and spoke about the taking down of al-Baghdadi. There were questions when he was finished that people were asking him, like, when did you let Speaker Pelosi know, the congressman? He said, I didn't let him know. I didn't want any information getting leaked that would put our people in danger or put al-Baghdadi into a situation where he could escape. Now, as it turns out, they kept it very quiet. They came in under the guise of darkness. There was a bunker surrounding the place. They blew holes into other areas of this compound because all of the openings and everything were like wired to blow up. So they knew this. They were very well prepared. They were going into this knowing what they were looking at. So they think about the firepower. They blew holes through the compound walls to go in where it wasn't booby trapped. This was a good plan. So there were many in this compound that were killed, destroyed, coming out, returning fire, died. There were also 2 of his wives, which that's just make you be like, okay, 2 wives. But anyway, 2 of his wives were found dead, wearing suicide vests that were designed to blow up, and they could blow up a radius of, I'll get this wrong, but like, let's say 15 yards. I mean, anything in that path within 15, 20 yards is just cooked. It's just going to rocket through you, like maybe even further. Maybe it's like 50 yards. I don't know. But anyway, sounds like our boys got off a couple shots on them before they could ignite that. Al-Baghdadi wasn't so lucky. As he was fleeing into one of the tunnels, in the process, there were a number of women that were brought out that nothing happened to them, and also 11 children made it out. So this sting, this undercover sting, actually resulted in no needless lives. Like they didn't kill 11 children. You know what I mean? They got them out with the women that didn't have suicide vests on. The unfortunate part for al-Baghdadi is that he worked himself into a tunnel where it was a dead end. The really, really sad part of all this is that he took 3 of his young children with him on this venture to get away, only to find out that he was in a dead-end tunnel. Our men in uniform sent the dogs in, as they do, first line of defense. Maybe they have a camera mounted to them, go over there, see what's going on. But about that time, al-Baghdadi detonated his vests, thereby destroying himself and caving in his dead-end cave, but also destroying the lives of his 3 young children and injuring the canine in the process. So that happened today. You know what you haven't heard? You haven't heard anything from any of the Democrats praising Trump for taking out the #1 leader in ISIS. If the handwriting's not on the wall for you guys right now, Lord have mercy on your soul. And I say that for everybody that's watching this fiasco go down and doesn't draw the same conclusion that this is over the boundaries of ridiculous. Well beyond. President said he watched it live. Sounds like they either had 10 different soldiers with body cameras on that they watched it, or maybe they had that, plus they had a drone or 2 just flying back cover and just kind of following along as the plan went through. Sounds like he got HD viewing privileges watching this entire thing go down. They talked about him whimpering, crying, and screaming as he exited out of the cave that had a dead end. The leader of ISIS, this top recruitment tier that takes young, impressionable kids that have maybe been slighted a time or 2, or maybe don't have any direction, and they offer them a direction to come in and become part of the jihad. That man who beheaded so many different people. They found a Kurd pilot that had bailed out. They put him in a cage and they burned him alive. This guy that the mainstream television, not Fox, wants you to have sympathy for is a monster. of the worst degree. It's one thing to catch an enemy and you put them out of their misery. It's another thing to catch them, put them in a cage, and then roast them. Roast them. Or take them and behead them. Cut their fucking heads off. What? Now, my only fear is that this guy didn't die a treacherous enough death. But he did die crying, whimpering, and screaming as he pulled the switch on his vest. And in a cowardly act, took 3 kids with him. But I do have faith. I believe he is right where he should be right now. Right where he should be. And maybe I'll end up there myself, but I don't think so. Trump said he died like a dog. He died like a coward. The man who's responsible for bringing all these people into ISIS on some capacity died like a coward, a dog. 48 years old, 1 year older than me, had the entire future of the caliphate in his hands. And he went out like a bitch. And I'm not in New York, so I can't be fined. This guy went out like a bitch. Just tells you he was a total pussy. 100%. Trump said that we surveilled the situation in Syria and where this arrest or ambush happened. We've been getting good information on it for about 2 weeks. It's right about the time that the peace negotiation and the ceasefire was settled between Turkey and the Kurds and is now permanently going. Trump also said, and by no mistake, let this slip for the right reason, he said that we had communication with Russia, Turkey, Syria, Iraq, because we're going to have to fly over their airspace to take care of this very important situation. He said nobody asked any questions. It's a mutual agreement. We're allowed to use the airspace. They knew that what was happening was good for humanity, and that was taking out a radical Islamist terrorist. Yeah, let's call him what he is. And as I stated before, Trump did not let Speaker Pelosi know, nor the Congress, any portion of the House, because they could not afford to have that get out, and it would have got out. Pelosi and Schiff just went to the country of Jordan, right around the corner from where this all happened. This was a counter move. I am thinking that this happened based solely on whatever the reason for the visit to Jordan was between Pelosi and Schiff. I think, like they say, for every action, there's an equal and appropriate reaction. And the fact that they are totally quiet about any of it today proves that Trump, just like with this kill on Baghdadi, it just took all the wind out of their sails. All of it. Any narrative that they were going to try to put behind al-Baghdadi and any of this just up and disappeared. I'll say it again, like a fart in the wind. It up and disappeared. It's gone. It's gone. And that's good for us. That's good for us. That's good for patriots. I know it sounds like a horror story. It's really good for us. Honestly, it's the best possible news that we could have. I feel like these hits are going to keep coming. Boom. Right now is when we need to be sitting back enjoying it, because we just took out the number one person in ISIS. Boom. And Pelosi and the Democrats and the deep state hate it. Boom. These are wins. These are all wins. You're going to win so much. You're going to beg me, Mr. President, please stop winning. And I'm going to say, Too bad. You're gonna keep winning. You're gonna win, win, win like you've never won before. Welcome to the win. We are winning. But I'll bring you back to this. Though exhausting to win, think about how exhausted the president must be having to go through this absolute horror show. This shit show. His kids all going through this. One false attack after another, just bombarding the president. It has been one long, endless witch hunt from the day he came down the escalators. He had the audacity to win the election. And then he had the audacity to call these sons of bitches out for what they are, which is what he spoke about doing, which was replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment. He was never more clear than he was on that day. That's before he became the president. He let us know. And people in America understood that he was letting us know. Why? I said it the other night. This man's message has not changed from any interview I've ever heard of from. You can just change the country. He talks about America making good trade deals, fair trade deals. He doesn't blame the administration for the countries that made good trade deals. He blames them. They're stupid. They're dumb. But America's best interest wasn't in any of their playbooks. It wasn't Reagan's. Most certainly wasn't JFK's. But as I've said numerous times, once they took that shot at Reagan and almost killed him, they got his mind right. He came around. That's why he was allowed to win the second election. I mean, just understand you've been lied to your whole life. It's not fun for me to say. I don't get any glory out of it because I'm in the same boat as you. We've been lied to our entire lives. About anything that really matters, we've been lied to. And I love that's coming out. And it will come out. Next few weeks are going to be really, really crazy, but you guys, they're going to be crazy. I think they're going to be tremendous, to tell you the truth. I mean, any point going forward, I've said this a few weeks, I know. Any point moving forward is just the things that we're going to look back on and go, oh, that's what it was. Oh, that's why it was said. I mean, for you guys that are awake, following the Q drops, like I said, who knows if Q is going to come back? I don't know. At this point, it don't matter. It don't matter. Donald Trump is Q. He's Q plus. He's dropping all the necessary information. And what's beautiful is that they made Q go quiet while all of the shitstorm is starting to really gain momentum. They can't fall back and go, it's this QAnon movement. No, you guys put that to sleep. You guys put that to sleep like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. It's not the Q movement. Q will be back as soon as it makes sense for Q to be back. But the enemy is not done destroying themselves yet. They're still working real hard at destroying themselves. It's a lot of fun to watch. I'm not going to lie. It tests the nerves. But there's an overwhelming calm behind this entire plan for those that are awake. I mean, if you're not awake and you're watching what's going on, you're thinking, oh my God, the world's going to end. It's not. All right, guys, that's it for me. Creeping up on an hour. Good to see you guys. Thank you for showing up, as always. Can't wait to watch the replay. Check out the chat. And I hope you guys all have a phenomenal week ahead of you. Probably won't come on tomorrow. I might come on Tuesday night. We'll see. Yeah, little short teaser. Let's see what happens in the news cycle. And then I'm starting to lose my voice. But no, thanks. I appreciate you guys showing up. And again, I'll see you soon. You guys have a great night. And I love you all very much. And now you know this. Bye.